Hello, hopefully you're having a great evening. I just wanted to come to you to kind of share what is, how much does a bookkeeper charge for a small business? So this is a really, really cool kind of question because this video is probably going to get views from two sides of the equation. So the business owner looking to outsource or hire a bookkeeper or accountant, and the bookkeeper slash accountant who is looking to learn how to price their services a little bit better. Now, let's just even start. So I'm going to focus mainly on the bookkeepers who are trying to learn how to charge. And what do you have to really keep in mind in order to know, like, are you charging the right rate? Are you undercharging? Are you overcharging? Are you right in the sweet spot? And what are some things you have to kind of look out for? I wish if I had known this about 7 years ago, it probably would have been a lot easier for me to go and grow based on what I know now. So the first thing is, oh yeah, and if you guys haven't already, go ahead and click on the link inside the description below to book a call with me to see if I can help you grow your accounting or your bookkeeping business. Now, the first thing that we have to talk about is you have to really know what your goal is. Someone was asking me today, like, I'm charging like $20 an hour. Am I undercharging? And I'm like, well, it depends. I'm gonna give you the accounting answer. It depends, right? What is your goal? So a lot of people they go, well, I want to make six figures. Okay. Well, how much do you have to make per hour to make six figures? How much do you have to make per month to make six figures? And a lot of people, they kind of default to, I want to make 10K per month. I'm like, well, that's 120 a year, right? So what is that real number? Right. So the first thing, if you really do want to go and make six figures, what you should probably do is do about $100,000 divided by 2080, because that's what would be the 2080 hours in the work year if you work 40 hours per week. Okay, it's going to come out to about $48. That means you have to charge at least $48 per hour to fill up every single hour of the work week. Now, if you actually wanted to work 20 hours a week and still be able to go and make 100K in a year, you'd have to multiply 48 times 2, then you get $96 per hour if you want to be on a six-figure run rate and only work 20 hours per week. So your job is to go and figure out how to do that, right? So in a lot of cases, what you're going to start noticing is I always like to have my minimum price be about $500 per month. And this is for like the bookkeepers or accountants who are watching this, right? And a lot of people are like, well, that might seem a little expensive, Bryce, because I have clients for $100 a month, $200 a month. I'm like, yeah, that's because you don't really know how to kind of like talk about the value. And I'm not making fun of you if you're in that position, like you have a number of clients, for 100, 200. It's just generally one, you need to know how to charge so that you never have to like have your pricing calculator or your pricing discussion be around that number. And then two, you got to make sure that you can really talk the value. Let's even put it like this. Okay, so you got to really think about it. If someone's not willing to pay you $300 a month, $300 a month equals $3,600 per year. Okay, that is about the price of one and a half Airbooks or MacBooks, the Apple laptops. If they don't even value as much as like as one and a half computers, that means that there's something wrong in the way that we talk about our service. There's something wrong with the way that we get people interested in our service to even get on a consultation with us. And that means there's a problem with our education process. So there's a couple different processes you have to take someone through in order for them to really understand how valuable you are. Number one is they need to know you exist. Okay, this one's the easiest one. You can send someone a connection request if they're in the right frame of mind or if they're open to working with someone like yourself. Okay, now that's the first level. Second level is really educating and building that value. Like how much they need this. What does it cost them not to have this? Why is it important they have this for their business if they haven't already? Or if they are trying to do it, why is it important they do this thing well? Okay, the higher you can get this kind of meter filled up, the easier it's going to be for you to bring it to the next one. Okay, so the next one is if you have any sort of testimonial or any sort of like video interview with a student. Okay, what we're trying to do there is we're trying to build the value and get other people to start talking about how great you are so you don't have to talk about how great you are as well. And then when the person gets on the phone, generally if everything else has been kind of like put in the right order, the phone call is very, very easy. You don't really have to say very much and you're able to go and get them to want to pay you a higher amount of money because almost like you're this mini celebrity in their eyes. Now, if you don't have either a video interview testimonial or you don't have any references or you don't have any past clients that you can kind of utilize, right? And then if you don't really have any content that, even when I say content, like something you send in the email, or even your pre consultation form, or even on your website or your LinkedIn, if you don't have that, and then next, like you have a really like okay profile, when you connect with them, they're kind of like, this person is, I don't really know if I trust this person. I don't know if this person is really good at it. It looks like they're kind of a beginner. The less you have in the front before the phone call, the harder the phone call is going to be. And what that ends up happening is when you try and say your price is like $400 a month or it's $500 a month, they're like, oh yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's right. And then they're making a decision based on price when what you really need for them to do is make a decision based on reputation, value, as well as what is the potential gain they're going to get by paying you this money. Okay, if someone thinks that they're going to make an extra, 400,000, they're not going to have trouble paying you 40 grand to do so. Okay, if they think that by having either your bookkeeping service or your virtual CFO service or your advisory service is going to help them grow their business and keep track of that growth, they will be happy doing that. Versus they think you're just gonna like, categorize some transactions, just do a couple bank recs, and like do like 1 or 2 hours worth of work, and it's just anyone can do that work. That's when they will start wanting to pay you like $100, $200. So if you can become that celebrity in your eyes, now you can start charging a lot more. Okay. So then next thing is like, so should you charge flat rate or should you charge hourly? So generally, when I work with someone inside of the program, I tell them to go and do flat rate at first. Okay. So for example, like Audrey, when she was first getting started, the first thing we did was we gave her a pricing calculator, so she knew exactly what to charge. So her first client ended up paying her about 4 grand per month, right? Then she got a couple clients around like, 490, 500, 525, 600, right? And she was like around this $5,500 per month kind of range, right? And she stayed there for about 2, 3 months because she was going on like vacation, she was relaxing, and she didn't really believe in her mind and her heart that she could actually go and make six figures. Because back in her corporate job, she was making about I think it was like 30,000 a year, right? Because they kept passing her over for like promotions at work, and they just kind of like ignored her, and she was really undervalued, right? So when she was making like 5,500 a month, right, that was more money than what she had probably made like ever. It was almost double what she was making when she first got started. So it was just like, man, it took a lot for us to be able to get her confidence up, right? And then as soon as we did, it's funny, right? Because like I kept asking, hey man, like when are we gonna get to 10K? When are we gonna get to 10K? Why are you stopping at 55? Like what's up? What can I do to help you out? Come on. We have to get this motivation. And then we did like a special call where I kind of sat down with her. We talked for about 45 minutes. I was like, bro, like do you know there's no difference between, making $5,500 a month and making like 10,000, 11,000, 12,000 per month? And she's like, what? So yeah, it's not like you feel like you arrive and like you enter this zone and life changes. You get like rosy colored glasses. It's not like that. It's the exact same feeling from 5,500 to 11,000. The only difference is just more money in your bank account. You have more freedom. You don't need to work quite as much or quite as hard. You have more volume to be able to outsource to like a subcontractor. So you can just subcontract out some of the work or refer it out to other people. So what we did was that, so hey, you're not going to have to increase the amount of time that you spend working in your business if we go and get to 11 grand, because then we can just start outsourcing some of your smaller clients, right, at probably about a 50 to 75% profit margin. So she just gets this passive income coming in. She's like, wait, what? I can do that? And I was like, yeah. So what we basically said was, I told her, okay, so you have four potential clients coming up this week, right? And as soon as you get these two potential clients on, I'm going to actually have you outsource and subcontract this work to one of the other students inside of the mentorship program. And then she's like, oh, okay. And I say, yeah, so they're reputable. They've worked together in the past. You know her. You've been on the coaching calls with her, and you know her. She's like, oh, cool. Then she closed all four clients in the next like 5 days. Then two of them she outsourced to the person like we planned. Then the other ones, I can't remember exactly what she's doing. It's been about a week since we last spoke, but she's kind of moving those on her own, right? And then she went from literally 5,500 to about 11,600 dollars, literally in the span of 1 week. And it was just as soon as we could kind of get her to change her beliefs, change her viewpoint, change her opinions, and start going after bigger clients, that's when things really transformed for her. And that's when she was able to really just explode the income, right? So a lot of people are thinking about pricing, and it's not only just about pricing, it's really about, just like I was talking about, the sales process as well as your mindset. And like, what are you really kind of looking to work for, work with, or take? Right, because there's a lot of people who, as soon as the business owner starts saying, I don't really know the value, I don't really understand this, why don't we go like a lower rate? Most people, they get scared of the person kind of walking away, or losing the business, so they take on the client, just so they can say they have another client, right? And it's very easy to do so, because when you're first getting started, a lot of people, like, their goal is to almost like fill up this gas tank of, I have 100 clients, or I have like 25 clients, or I have 30 clients, right? But what they don't really understand is, like, you probably wouldn't even understand how many people come to me and they already have 20 to 30 clients. When you ask them how much money they're making per month, they're like, I'm making like 7 grand a month. And I'm like, oof, oof, that's not a huge amount, dog. And a lot of them like, yeah, I'm charging some like 100, charging some 150, like some 200. My prices are just so low. And I'm like, we have to really strategically kind of raise your standards and raise what you're expecting. For example, like, when Melissa Hearn first came into the program, she had like a bunch of clients that were paying her like 150, or some of them were even paying like 150 every quarter. So it would just be like $50 a month she was charging to do all this work for them. And it was just kind of like, dude, like, we had to kind of dig deep into like her psychology, her viewpoint on money, like what was a reasonable range, what is money. And like for example, like she didn't really understand that money isn't really a thing, right? People, when they're new to business and they're used to like either working for somebody else, they don't really understand that money is not necessarily just a static thing, right? It's really about energy and excitement, right? And the more excited that you get the other person, the more money you can actually charge them for. And oftentimes, the more money that someone has, so if a potential client is making 7 or 8 figures, it's a lot easier to get them more excited, because they're looking and they're visionaries and they're trying to go really fast. So you just excite them a little bit more. They have more money inside the bank to give you. They know they can replenish that stream of income a lot, just extremely quickly. And then they can pay you 4 grand a month and not even feel it, right? For these 8 figure businesses, think about it. For an 8 figure business, they're making anywhere between, $900, I'm sorry, $900,000 per month, all the way up to what? Some are making like 10 grand, 10 grand, I'm sorry, 10 million a month, right? You don't think they could pay you 4 grand every single month? They'll have 886,000 per month left. But a lot of people get really scared and they just really want to get the client. It's like, you gotta just kind of realize, hold your horses. If the person is not quite ready to pay you the amount of money you need, just kind of let them go for a little while, because what's going to happen is they're going to go and they're going to try, someone really cheap, like a $100 an hour or $100 per month kind of person. I was speaking to this young lady in Messenger today, about like joining the mentorship program, and she had said, I had thought about joining your mentorship program like 3 months ago, but I was afraid that it was going to be a lot of money, so I went with this cheaper program. And it's like, oh, how is that going? Well, there wasn't any support in it. It wasn't exactly what I expected. And yeah, so I lost $1,000, and I lost a lot of time. I'm like, like, and now since she, didn't have a huge amount of money before, and they're living kind of on savings, now she's kind of getting close to zero. And I'm like, dude, it's the same thing with your accounting clients. Like, you literally get what you pay for. Right. And $1,000, that's a lot of money, to be honest. Like, that's not like chump change when you're first starting out. But I mean, think about it. If all you have to do is either pay someone like 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, and then it gets you a business that goes and grows to $100,000 every single year for the rest of your career. I mean, what's 5 grand? Like, sometimes people come on the phone, they're like, Bryce, like your program is so expensive. And I'm like, okay, it's not expensive when you make $100,000 like my students make. Because when you have a recurring revenue type business, not only when you get to 100,000, but money doesn't just stop. It's 100,000 this year, then 100,000 next year, then 100,000 the year after that. And as long as you don't lose clients, as long as you have the ability to go and get clients really quickly, it makes it very easy for you to kind of maintain that rate. And then it's like, so think about it. If you made $100,000 in year number one, and then year number two, you did the exact same, like you didn't grow, you stopped for whatever reason, you just stopped growing, right? Then in year three, you already got $300,000 from, let's say, for example, that the investment for my course is 6 grand, right? What is that? What is that percentage? So let me actually do this calculator. So 6,000 divided by $300,000. That's 2%. You just gave me 2% of your revenue to go in and grow your business. So it's the same thing when you're trying to sell someone on your accounting and bookkeeping services. You have to kind of put it in perspective to them. Like, what are they getting for this? Like, and just really focus them on the goal. And that's how you start really charging for, your accounting and bookkeeping service. I know we've been all over the place, like how much does the bookkeeper charge? But what I basically just showed at first was, hey, this is what you need to charge at least per hour in order to make 100,000 per year. Next, we talked about like what are the things that actually impact your ability to charge and raise your price. Next thing we talked about was like what are the different beliefs and different mindset factors that you need to be focused on in order to actually charge the amount of money that you want. And then we gave a story about like, what does it look like for you to really grow your business, grow your mindset, and then start charging the amount of money that you really need in order to be successful in your business. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned a lot. Maybe you got something out of this. Write down your takeaways inside the comment section below. I'd love to be able to kind of see them and just kind of see, what you learned. And also, if you want some help growing your business, do not wait. Click on the link inside the description below. Book a call with me. Let's see if I can help you out. Like, there's nothing worse than waiting. I spoke to this one young lady today, text message. I've been following up with her for probably about 6 months. And at the time she didn't really have money to kind of invest in the program, which is kind of in some cases a real thing. Sometimes it's a smoke screen. Like, she had kind of had some trouble with her job because as you know nowadays, like certain times, like you might get kicked out of your company for certain things, like if you don't do certain things. And she was having trouble like finding work, right? And she wasn't really ready for a mentor at the time, and it took her about 6 months. And then I sent her a message today and she's like, oh, I actually ended up like stopping completely, and I went into like a different thing. So she's like now got a job like insurance or something. And I was like, man, if only she had been able to kind of like just either go get a bank loan or go and be able to just put something down. Like, I don't ask that you have to put down the full amount up front, especially if your situation doesn't merit it. But it's just one of those things where if you don't have a mentor, you run two risks. One, you run the risk of taking 6 months to a year to actually go and get up to the revenue goal that you need, or even the monthly amount that you need to survive. But then two, you run the risk of not actually being able to reach the goal at all. Right now, for her, what's probably going to happen is like I'm just going to keep showing my content to her, and then like she'll just start her business on the side, and then then we can work together in the future. So I don't want her to give up fully, even though right now she might be thinking that she's giving up on starting her business fully. But I mean, it's just one of those things like, hey man, you can do this. Like, just remember, you can do this. I'm always here for you to make sure that you can go and grow, and you'll have the right information here. It's just, if you guys are watching and you have money and you have time, it's just like you might as well invest it so that you can actually reach the goal. I hear a lot of people talking about like they want financial freedom and generational wealth, and then they don't actually go and put the steps together that it actually takes to go and build generational wealth. Like, you're not going to just do it just by like trying to grow a business by yourself, not investing in yourself, right? Because you're not planting any seeds. If you don't plant any seeds, you're not going to have anything to harvest when it's time to go. And they look back, a year, 2 years, 3 years later, and it's like they didn't really make any money. They're still trapped in their corporate job, and they're still kind of spinning their wheels. So if you don't want to be that person, just go ahead and book the call. I mean, it's one of those things. You make your money back so easy. Plus, the lifestyle you get from it is just crazy. So if that's you, book your call. If not, and you're not ready yet, that's a-okay too. Keep watching the videos, and then maybe one day we can go and accomplish your dreams together. Okay, so I will talk to you soon. I will see you in the next video.